Hello everyone, welcome to the Thastu Defense. Today we will be covering the verbal ability in English, which is part of your FCAT. So let us first understand the trend. Okay, in verbal ability, there are certain topics which are asked. Number one, questions will come from reading comprehension, and you will see on an average this has increased. In 2025, there was like 6 questions that were asked from reading comprehension, and on an average there were 3 questions that was asked per year. So obviously we can expect more questions to be asked this year as well. Then we have error detection, which is in terms of grammar or in terms of sentence formation, etc. So here also you will see average is around 4 to 5%. Sorry, that is 4 to 5 questions. Then when we talk about sentence completion, here you have to fill in the blanks. And now for this, sometimes your vocab will also be challenged. So this here we can say on an average, again 4 questions. I'm taking an average of the last 5 years, 5 to 6 years. Then we have synonyms and antonyms, which seems to be very important part of your verbal ability in English. Around 8 questions have been asked last year, and on an average 6 to 7. Okay. Then cloze test. Here no questions were asked last year. Now idioms and phrases, 3 on an average are asked. Sentence rearrangement, 3. So now they have started to ask it. Before they didn't. Then one word substitution, 1 question we can expect. Vocabulary, 2 questions. So as per the importance, I can say that synonyms and antonyms becomes the most important part. Then we can say reading comprehension. Then obviously error detection. Then we have sentence, idioms and phrases, rearrangement, and in the end, then we have vocabulary and one word substitution. So what we'll do is, in this series of lectures, we will revise our English, the verbal ability in English. Today I will be covering 3 topics from your syllabus. Number 1, reading comprehension. Number 2, error detection. Number 3, sentence completion or fill in the blanks. In this series, we will be discussing the PYQs. Before PYQs, we will discuss what types of questions are generally asked so that you are able to handle. We'll solve the PYQs and then we'll move on to the next topic. All right. Now, I hope you are already aware of the FCAT exam pattern. 100 questions, 300 marks, 1 question for 3 marks, -1 for negative marking, 0 for unattempted. Okay. Now, 35 questions are asked from general awareness. 30 questions alone are asked from verbal ability. So out of your 300, 90 marks of verbal ability is asked in your exam. So it becomes an important part of your exam. It becomes an important part of you clearing FCAT. Okay. Now, let us begin with reading comprehension. In reading comprehension, we have 8 types of questions that are asked. Number 1, main idea question. When we talk about main idea, basically here what happens is you have to get a very broader view, a broader perspective on the passage that you are reading. So normally the passage is given from in between, beech se milta hai passage. Now what happens is when you want to talk about, when the question asks about main idea, then your answer should be based on the central theme. So you have to get a very broader perspective on the passage. So this will revolve around the central theme of the passage. Tone of the author they can ask. In tone of the author, what will happen is it can be a more, they'll give you they'll give you options for the tone of the passage. It could be negative, it could be discouraging, it could be we can say in despair, it could be sympathetic or empathetic, it could be nostalgic. So this is tone of the passage. Okay. Now specific fact questions. Here the answers are from the passage itself. So whatever facts they are asking, it will be from the passage itself. Implied means that it is not directly mentioned in the passage. You have to deduce from the information that is given in the passage. You have to infer from the passage. Structural questions are there, then extrapolation questions are there. Basically that goes beyond the passage. It means that might be true or might we believe is true. Okay. Negative or exception questions they will ask you, and then contextual definition of a term. Here your vocabulary will be tested. Okay. So these are the types of questions. Now when we talk about the passages, what are the areas or themes that they cover? One, social science. The passage could be from history, anthropology, sociology, government. In natural sciences, a passage could be about biology, physics, chemistry, astronomy, or botany. Humanities may, it could be art, music, literature, philosophy. In business, it could be from economics, marketing, and human resources. So these are the repetitive themes from which the questions are asked. Now let us begin. My grandmother, like everybody's mother, was an old woman. Okay, author is telling about the grandmother here. She had been old and wrinkled for 20 years that I had known her. People said that she had once been young and pretty and had even had a husband, but that was hard to believe. My grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in drawing room. He wore a big turban and loose-fitting clothes. His long white beard covered the best part of his chest, and he looked at least 100 years old. He did not like the sort of person who would have a wife or children. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren. As my grandmother was young and pretty, the thought was almost revolting. Okay, so they are saying that the author is talking about the grandmother here. She's telling that when she saw her grandmother, she was wrinkled, and the grandfather, she never knew her grandfather, but his photograph was in the drawing room. She often told us of the game she used to play as a child that seemed quite absurd and undignified on her part. So she's saying the games that the grandmother used to basically play, according to the author, they were absurd and undignified, as we treated it like the fables of the prophets she used to tell us. Fables means just like fictional stories. They never believed it. So, first question is, whom does the narrator think the grandfather looks like? Obviously, it is written in the passage itself. If you see here, he looked like as if he could have only lots and lots of grandchildren, not a wife or children. So obviously you get the answer from here. The option is D. What is the narrator's attitude? Attitude here, this is the type of tone that they are asking you, the tone towards their grandmother's stories. Obviously they never believed it. Why? Because they said they were fable of the prophets, like fictional stories. So they were in disbelief, right? Reverent here means like showing respect and believing them. Sympathetic means obviously again believing. Nostalgic means obviously remembering the stories, but they were like the author disbelieved it. Select the most appropriate antonym. Antonym means opposite of the term revolting. When we talk about revolting, revolting means something which is unpleasant. Okay. So unpleasant here becomes the synonym. So this becomes wrong. Okay. Rebel becomes wrong. Okay. Peace becomes wrong. Attractive is the best antonym of revolting. Clear? Now, so if you see here, it wasn't too difficult to answer, right? Everything was given in the passage. And obviously for the last question, you need what? You need better vocabulary. Now, when we talk about how to identify the tone of the passage, for that, you have to read the passage from the author's perspective, not from your emotions or your perspectives. Second, although interactions between humans and wild animals have been explored in the literature, the mechanisms through which such experiences influence well-being require further examination. So this article is about humans and wild animals. Despite ideographic differences between narratives, a common theme of relationship and connectedness between participants and non-human animals emerged. Okay, when we talk of ideographic, basically it relates to the study of scientific facts. So here they are saying, despite ideographic differences, so scientifically they are different, but still there is a common relationship or connectedness between the two participants. The expression of this indicates that human dolphin experiences fulfill aspects of human need for connection and relationship, and the experiences promote well-being and environmental behaviors. This is contextualized within an ongoing nature relationship and the importance of lifelong connection with wildlife to ensure that humans see themselves as part of the natural world. So here they are showing the relationship, the connectedness between humans and wild animals. The narratives reported here describe strong emotional connections transmitted through both tangible and perceived contact with dolphins, which translate into positive senses of emotions and well-being. The connectedness described are powerful, Connections described are powerful. Perceptions of communion and mutual exchange become articulated through the rhetoric of friendship and kinship. Importantly, it appears that dolphin encounters are signifiers of wider relationships both with nature and people. In this case, participants are reinforcing established habits of nature connectedness, habits reflecting a lifelong involvement with non-human animals. Okay, so when we talk about rhetoric, rhetoric means already answer is given in a more persuasive speaking or writing. Okay, so here they are asking which word is mentioned can be replaced with art of speaking or writing effectively. Obviously, that is rhetoric because that is the meaning of rhetoric. Connections are powerful because again it is given here. Okay, here, connections are powerful because perceptions of communion and mutual exchange become articulated through the rhetoric, friendship, and kinship. So, obviously, given here, exact statement would get from the paragraph itself. The strong emotional connections are transmitted through tangible and perceived contact with dolphins. So, where is it mentioned here? Here. The narrative reported here describes strong emotional connections transmitted through both tangible and perceived contact with dolphins. So, both the answers were given in the question itself, and the first one was checking your vocab. Which of the following is implied by perceptions of communion and mutual exchange become articulated? So if we'll here they're asking you the meaning of the statement. So we'll eliminate the answers. The relationship between dolphin and people is regarded as sharing and exchanging perceptions will effectively be exchanged through hostility and trust, obviously not given. The relationship between dolphins and people is regarded as non-communicative. It is contradicting to the statement. The relationship between dolphins and people is regarded as sharing and exchanging thoughts effectively through antipathy and agony. Again, galat. So, obviously, persuasion of trust and sympathy with the help of effective persuasion, right? Perceptions of communion and mutual exchange, right? So, this is more positive here. This is what they mean. Okay. Next, sericulture or silk farming is the cultivation of silkworms to produce silk. Although there are several commercial species of silkworms, Bombyx mori, the caterpillar of the domestic silk moth, is most widely used and intensively studied silkworm. Silk is believed to have first been produced in China as early as the Neolithic period. Sericulture has become an important cottage industry in countries like Brazil, China, France, India, Italy, Japan, Korea, and Russia. And today, China and India are the two main producers with more than 60% of world's annual production. So, which silkworm species widely used for commercial purpose? Already written here, Bombyx mori, given in the option. In which of the following countries sericulture is not imported? France is here, so this becomes wrong. China is here, this becomes wrong. Korea is here, this becomes wrong. So, obviously, Armenia. In which archaeological period silk was first produced? Neolithic period given here. Answer is Neolithic period. Right? So all the answers were given in the question. So how do you solve it? You have to be very, very careful. Very, very careful. So the trick to answer reading comprehension is first read the questions itself. Okay, पहले questions को पढ़ लो, उसके बाद passage पे जाओ, go to the passage, read the passage. Okay, you already know what you have to find out and then answer the questions. So like this, you will very quickly read the passage and also answer the questions more accurately. Now, the other topic is on economics. A free market is a system in which the prices for goods and services are determined by the open market and consumers, in which the laws and forces of supply and demand are free from any intervention by government, price setting monopoly, or other authority. The laissez-faire principle expresses a preference for an absence of non-market pressures on prices and wages, such as those from discriminatory government taxes, subsidies, tariffs. Laissez-faire means no intervention of the government. Tariffs, regulations of purely private behavior or government granted or coercive monopolies. The concept of free market contrasts with the regulated market in which a government is the one who's intervening in supply and demand through various methods such as tariffs used to restrict trade and protect the economy. In a free market economy, prices for goods and services are set freely by the forces of supply and demand and are allowed to reach their point of equilibrium without intervention by government policy. Although free markets are commonly associated with capitalism within a market economy in contemporary usage and popular culture, free markets have also been advocated by free market anarchists, market socialists, and some proponents of cooperatives and advocates of profit sharing. criticism of the theoretical concept considers systems with significant market power, inequality of bargaining power, or information asymmetry to be less than free, with regulation being necessary to control those imbalances. I'm sure everything, for some of you, it must have gone above your head, right? Economics is not that simple. So now when these type of long passages come, what you have to do is first read the questions, then go back to the passage. It will become easy for you to actually answer the questions. Now, what are the driving forces of free market? Look here. Free market is a system in which prices of goods, see, which laws, forces of demand and supply are free from any intervention. So obviously the answer becomes demand and supply. What are the methods through which the government can regulate a market? Okay. Here they are saying that here the laissez-faire principle expresses a preference for an absence of non-market pressure. So this is not done. Okay, discriminatory government accesses are not done. This is not done. Purely private behavior is not done. Government granted or coercive monopolies are not done. So we know that through this the government can interfere. So answer will come here to be coercive monopolies. Okay. Okay, they are talking about coercive monopolies, subsidies and tariffs and discriminatory taxes. So all of these will be the answer because all of them were mentioned. What is the principle that guides free market laissez-faire, which was mentioned after the here, right? So all the answers are given in the option. All the answers are given in the passage itself. Next, in spring, polar bear mothers emerge from dens with 3 months old cubs. The mother bear has fasted for as long as 8 months, but that does not stop the young from demanding full access to her remaining reserves. If there are triplets, the most persistent stands to gain an extra meal at the expense of others. The smallest of the cubs forfeits many meals to stronger siblings. Females are protective of their cubs, but they tend to ignore family rivalry over food. In 21 years of photographing polar bears, I have only once seen the smallest of triplets surviving till autumn. So they're talking about how polar bear, giving birth to triplets and how there's a fight for the food, right? So with reference to the passage, assumptions have made. Ab assumptions का क्या होता है? Okay, assumptions. See, this article is given from between. Assumptions are something that must have been written in the article, the main article. Okay, you are given this passage, right? So to solve this question, what we'll do is we'll negate these statements. Negate means we'll make the statements opposite. Polar bears fast for as long as 8 months due to the non-available of prey. ये तो वैसे ही wrong हो गया because we know that the mother has fasted for as long as 8, but that does not stop from young from demanding full access. So because due to the non-availability of prey, obviously if I say availability of prey, will that impact? I'm negating it. Okay, so if will that impact my argument here? No, it is not even being talked about. This is out of scope, so this becomes wrong. Polar bears always give birth to triplets. Always, extreme word becomes wrong. If I say polar bear doesn't always give birth to triplets, this becomes right. Correct? So this is extremely wrong. So that is why your answer is D. Female polar bear gives during the actually the answer here should be spring. Actually, it's not winters here, it is spring. Okay, they give birth during the spring. Mother bear lets the cub fend for themselves. Yes, obviously, they do not take sides. As we said, they ignore the rivalry. Feeds only their favorites, not possible. Sees that all the cubs get an equal share, not possible. So obviously, they let the cubs basically, make their own fight for the food themselves. Now, our next topic is error detection. In error detection, there are certain, strategies that you have to study. The first is subject-verb agreement. What is a subject? Basically, we are talking about a noun or a pronoun here, and verb should follow that subject, right? So in this, we have two rules. Number one is first or farthest subject rule. In first or farthest subject rule, what happens is whenever in the sentence you see the term as well as, then we will refer to the first noun and the verb will be according to that first noun. For example, see here, the teacher as well as the students is playing. Now we have two nouns here. We have teacher here and we have students here. Okay, teacher here is singular, right? And plural is your students. So the verb will be is or are. It will depend on whether we have used the term as well as or not. Now as well as is used here, so your verb will be according to the first or the farthest noun. So here teacher is singular, so we will use the term is playing. So teacher as well as the student is playing will be the correct answer. Is it clear? Now the second is nearest subject rule. Nearest subject, we will choose the nearest subject when basically it applies when you have joined the phrases by not only but also or neither and nor. If you are using this in your sentence, then we will choose the nearest subject. For example, not only the teacher but also the students are playing. Now we have used the term not only but also here, and there are two subjects, subject 1 and subject 2, that is your students. Now students is the nearest one. So as per this, we know that student is plural. So our verb will be plural, that is are play. Is it clear? So this is your strategy related to subject verb agreement. Now we have modifiers. Modifiers are basically either we use a modifier before our to make our nouns more interesting or clear. So either we use it before nouns or after nouns, after the subject. So here what is happening? She wore a beautiful dress. So dress here becomes the word that they are describing, and beautiful becomes the modifier because they are making it more interesting, more clear. So beautiful is the modifier here. So we have pre-modifiers. Now this comes before the word they are describing. We can use adjectives to describe them like beautiful. We can use adverbs to describe them, slowly, lately, soon. When we talk about now, very, very, to, these are adverbs. Participles we can use basically the verbs that we can use as adjectives. So for example, ing, if you're talking about present participle, then obviously it will end in ing. Okay, like I say, there's a crying baby. So crying is a verb, but we're using it as an adjective. So that is a participle. In past, we'll use ed, t or en. Okay, now we have post modifier. Basically, we use the modifiers after the word that we are describing. So we can use it in terms of adjectives. Example, they found her mother sick. So mother, we are describing the mother here. So who is sick? Then adverbs, she smiles beautifully. So we are describing her smile, which is beautiful, after the word. Prepositional, which means that a ferryman near the station. So we're telling the ferryman is near the station. Now, relative clauses. I saw the boy who was going to the market. So boy who was going to the market. You're describing the boy. Okay, so after. ing participle, a man wearing a grey suit. You're describing a man. Okay, so post modifier. Ed participle, the subject discussed the book. Subject is discussed in the book. Yes, so we are describing the subject but post modifier. Two infinitive clauses, I have something to say to you. Something to say. Again, post modifier. Appositive clauses, basically this explains the noun. So the man, we are explaining the man. Who loves the chocolate? Post modifier. So post the word that you are describing. Clear? Now parallelism, which means whenever a sentence has more than one thing which are similar, okay, which are related, then their verbs should be same. For example, she writes a letter and mailed it to the school. So there are two things, okay, here that is happening, writes and mailed, but both are in different tenses. So we have to basically write them in the same tense. She wrote a letter and mailed it to the school. So wrote will come here instead of write. So both the verbs has to be in the same tense. Is it clear? Now comes pronoun reference error. For example, we know what are pronouns like he, she, it, they, right? So we should clearly refer to a specific noun. Sometimes if there are more pronouns, then we have to clearly refer to it. How? While cleaning my wardrobe, I found its lost keys. So clearly we know now its is using to describe the wardrobe. Right? So we are clearly describing the wardrobe here. We're clearly referring the wardrobe here. Now, if this sentence has many, antecedents, then we have to use the pronoun in such a way that it describes which antecedent we are talking about. And what do you mean by antecedent? Basically, which we are clearly referring to. So Our sentence is take the jewelry box out of the locker and clean it. Now it could mean jewelry box, it could mean just jewelry, it could mean the locker, right? It is not very clear. So how will we write it? To make it clear, we'll write take the jewelry box out of the locker and clean the jewelry, or we can write take the jewelry box out of the locker and clean the box. Take the jewelry box out of the locker and clean the locker. So we have to make it more clear. This is about many antecedents. Then there can be a hidden antecedent when the pronoun is referring to something which isn't actually a noun in the sentence. For example, when I opened the packing, it turned out to be a surprise gift. Now, packing is not an antecedent, right? It is hidden. So instead of packing, what we will write? Parcel. So when I opened the parcel, it turned out to be a surprise gift. Is it clear? Now, using this, we'll find out the errors, which will be based on, now the errors could be grammar, grammatical, vocabulary, or sentence. Okay. Now, there are certain rules. Number one, whenever we talk about our articles a and the, they will not be used whenever there are certain words like kind of, sort of, type of, तो इनके साथ हम कभी articles को use नहीं करेंगे. जैसे कि what type of the books do you like to read, तो type of आ गया ना, तो यहाँ पे article नहीं आएगा, सीधा क्या आएगा, what type of books do you like to read. Okay, now if I say what sort of an animal is that, sort of आ गया ना, तो उसके बाद article नहीं आएगा, सीधा what will you write, what sort of animal is that, तो आपने an हटा दिया, sorry. Okay, then you have, this is the rule one. Words, whenever you see the words like each of, one of, none of, they are always followed by a plural form of the noun. For example, each of the student नहीं होगा, each of the students होगा. One of those birds नहीं होगा, one of those birds होगा. None of the student नहीं होगा, none of the students होगा. Right? Now, the third is the collective noun will take a plural verb when not used as a single unit. Like resources. तो रिसोर्सेज जो होते हैं वो कलेक्टिव हैं, तो उसकी जगह वॉज नहीं आएगा, वर आएगा, प्लूरल है. ओके, प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस टेंस विल बी यूज्ड इन प्लेस ऑफ सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस व्हेन द रिकरिंग एक्शन इज प्रॉब्लमैटिक. तो जब हमें लग रहा है कि एक्शन बार बार हो रहा है, इट इज रिपीटेडली हैपनिंग, सो व्हेन देन वील यूज कंटिन्यूअस टेंस, प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस टेंस एंड नॉट प्रेजेंट सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस. तो अगर हम ये लिखते हैं शी ऑलवेज, ये रिपीटेडली हो गया, रेकरिंग हो गया, तो शी ऑलवेज हिट मी नहीं होगा, शी इज ऑलवेज हिटिंग मी हो जाएगा, प्रेजेंट कंटिन्यूअस में कन्वर्ट कर दिया आपने. अगर कोई सेंटेंस में दो एक्शन क्लॉजेज है, मतलब दो एक्शंस हैं, ठीक है, और दोनों एक्शंस फ्यूचर में होने वाले हैं, तो हम सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस करेंगे. ओके, अदरवाइज वील डू इट फ्यूचर टेंस फॉर द अदर. तो दो एक्शंस हैं, तो पहले वाले के लिए सिंपल प्रेजेंट टेंस और दूसरे वाले के लिए सिंपल फ्यूचर टेंस. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, द मोमेंट शी विल एंटर द रूम वी विल स्टार्ट सिंगिंग द बर्थडे सॉन्ग. तो दो एक्शंस हो गए, एंटरिंग द रूम एंड सिंगिंग द बर्थडे सॉन्ग. तो पहला वाला आपका सिंपल टेंस में हो जाएगा, द मोमेंट शी एंटर्स द रूम, बट वी विल स्टार्ट, ये फ्यूचर में हो जाएगा. क्लियर? Had plus third form of the main verb is used for the first event happening in the sequence. Would have had will be used to describe the situation that would have occurred. अगर आज की सिचुएशन हम चेंज कर दे और हमें लगता है आगे जाके फ्यूचर में ये होने वाला है, तब हम would have had यूज करेंगे. अदरवाइज हम had plus third form यूज करेंगे. जैसे if Deepak would have called me, I would have picked him up from the airport. तो पहला क्या होगा, if Deepak had called me, I would have. तो पहला वाला आपका had plus third form of the verb, और दूसरा वाला I would have picked him up from the airport. Similarly, the train left before I reached the station. The train had already left before I reached the station. Is it clear? Now, let us begin with our error detection. Look here. My senior asked me, यहाँ पे आपको चूज करना है कि कौन से पार्ट ऑफ द सेंटेंस में रॉन्ग है. My senior asked me whether I was interested to joining the group for the exit. अब to joining क्या होता है, in joining होगा ना, to joining थोड़ी होता है, to join होता है, in joining होगा. तो C में प्रॉब्लम है, तो you'll have to find out the error. आपको सॉल्व नहीं करना है, you just have to find out the error here. The judge was referring to the two postmortem reports that were, क्योंकि देखो postmortems क्या है, two post reports की बात हो रही है, which is plural, तो were आएगा, तो इसलिए C wrong हो गया. Find the part of the given sentence that has an error in it. If there is no error, then we'll choose no error. Neither I nor my friends are going to. TWO is more. TO is to walk. So two friends are going to walk is incorrect. The blast wave they generate is significantly longer in duration and sometimes more powerful than conventional explosive. Now, if you look here, the blast wave and conventional explosive are two different things. So after than, we should have had that, then that. So than conventional explosive is wrong. In this hard time, utilize the little money you have in the proper manner now. Okay, utilize the little money, not a little money. Here, a pair of diamond earrings which you bought me yesterday are expensive. So when we talk about pair, we are talking about a singular term. So instead of are, it should have been is. The World Health Organization declared India officially polio free in 2014 after some 2.3 million medical staffs. Now staffs is no word. Okay, the plural of staff is staff. So that is why B is wrong. India's vast COVID-19 vaccination program offers program one singular. तो obviously you use S with singular. S आता है plural के साथ S नहीं आता है. Okay, neither of the children seems, not seemed, seems to be concerned or seems concerned about the journey. So this becomes wrong. Okay, not only Shami but also Kohli. Not only आ गया ना, तो नॉट ओनली आया है तो आप किसके बारे में बात करोगे? आप सिंगुलर के पर्सन, आप क्या कहते हैं पहले वाले के बारे नहीं, सेकंड आ गया तो कोहली के बारे में बात करोगे. अगर यू रूल याद है हमारा नियरेस्ट वाला, तो कोहली वॉज इंजर्ड होगा ना कि वर इंजर्ड. विराट कोहली इज द रिचेस्ट एंड स्मार्टेस्ट, क्योंकि दो चीजें हैं, पैरेलल हो गया तो सेम आना चाहिए, तो रिचेस्ट एंड स्मार्टेस्ट. The news of India winning the series was a great shock for the Australian captain, but he bore it bravely. It की बात आएगी ना, प्रोनाउन अच्छे से डिस्क्राइब करना चाहिए, राइट, सब्जेक्ट को या वर्ड को. नाउ as the country would lack laws, okay, would lack, not lacking, lack laws, the opposition party had called its नहीं होता, called its lawmakers, okay, तो ये हाँ, its lawmakers. The regime clears, क्योंकि एक की बात हो रही है तो clears होगा या cleared होगा depending on the tense. The regime clears a floor test as a result. Cleared होगा क्योंकि हो चुका है, तो cleared the floor test as a result. The court can still set aside the disqualification. Clear? Now the police is a plural word. If it is a plural word, then obviously what is happening? Then you will use not had, but you will use have. Okay, 1 second everyone. One second. So it crashed. So police have, because police is something which is plural. Okay, so police have arrested the thief. The man who. So we have two terms. Either we have who or we have whom. So whenever we talk about whom, we'll talk about the person receiving it. So the man is receiving it, so we'll talk about whom here. But whenever we talk about who, then whoever is performing the action, अगर वो एक्शन को परफॉर्म कर रहा है तो who यूज करेंगे, अगर वो रिसीव कर रहा है एक्शन तो whom यूज करेंगे. तो यहाँ पे whom आएगा, not who. Okay, I told him on his face. I told him on his face. On तो कुछ होता ही नहीं है, to होता है. To his face. Mohan is one of those boys who has expressed willingness to join, not for joining, to join the educational tour. I may spend this summer vacation. एक ही बात हो रही है ना, इस आज की बात हो रही है, this summer, this की बात हो रही है, singular है तो vacation. The boss was irritated by his neglecting the duties. His होता है, not him. His neglecting the duties. Each of the three beggars was हमने करा ना, each के बाद क्या आता है, singular true होगा, was. My brother sent 2 pairs of shoes. 2 pairs है, plural हो गया. The young boy said that he liked. देखो neither nor एक साथ आना चाहिए, तो he liked neither me nor my wife, ऐसे होगा. तो सेकंड आपका ये थर्ड वाले में रॉन्ग हो गया, ठीक है. लाइक पहले आएगा, neither बाद में आएगा. He was congratulated on his success. For his success नहीं होता, on his success. A person I met in the theater was the playwright himself. ओके तो अ नहीं है, हम पर्टिकुलर पर्सन के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे सिचुएशन में, तो अ की जगह क्या आएगा, द आएगा. दे वर्कड बिसाइड्स ईच अदर. बिसाइड्स मतलब होता है इन एडिशन. ओके यहाँ पे वो क्या इशू है, और बिसाइड का मतलब होता है नेक्स्ट टू ईच अदर. सो यू शुड हैव यूज्ड बिसाइड. सो आंसर इज बी. We returned to the guest house, impressed by what we had seen, so there is no error here. The judge was convinced that neither of the 5 accused were guilty. अब nor तो है नहीं यहाँ पे, है ना, तो neither भी नहीं आएगा, तो instead of neither we'll use the term none. The municipality is going to build अभी करने वाले हैं ना, तो build past tense थोड़ी आएगा, build आएगा, build a new school near the park. Is it clear? So this is second type of questions or that are asked in verbal ability in English. Now comes our sentence completion and fill in the blanks. Now in this, how do you solve it? When you are reading the sentence, first understand the tone of it. Is it positive or is it negative? Right? Then whatever you see or you think is right option, put it in the sentence, read it again. If it sounds okay to you grammatically, logically, then obviously that is the right answer. Otherwise, you can eliminate the options. Choose the appropriate option that fills in the sentence correctly. Number 1, Indians dash plants like people and tulsi sacred and worship them. अब जज तो करेंगे नहीं प्लांट्स को, कैंसिल हो गया. रिफ्लेक्ट भी नहीं करेंगे, थिंक करेंगे प्लांट्स को, कंसिडर करेंगे ना कि इन दोनों को हम कंसिडर कर रहे हैं एज सेक्रेड. ओके, choose the appropriate option again. My sister has decided to move from, move at. Obviously not. Live in सुना होगा तो move in with me. B हो गया आंसर. That you are my favorite brother, I'll tell my mother about it. तो contrasting दिख रहा है ना कॉमा के बाद. तो unless you are my favorite brother, not sounding good. Whenever you are my favorite brother, ये तो फिर question हो गया. However you are my favorite brother, not correct English. So even though you are my favorite brother, I'll tell my mother about it. The diner complained that his meal was too brackish to consume. Pure होता और delicious होता, तो obviously ये आपका देखो टोन इसका नेगेटिव है, तो ये दोनों वर्ड्स तो पॉजिटिव है, तो ये तो कैंसिल हो गया. वॉबल क्या होता है, वॉबल होता है आपका नॉट टुगेदर. ओके, ब्रैकिश होता है सॉल्टी, तो ऑब्वियसली द मील विल बी नॉट वॉबल बट सॉल्टी. He returned to the castle, stopping at the sound of काम. अगर काम होता तो ऑब्वियसली स्टॉप नहीं करता, पीस में भी स्टॉप नहीं करता, ये तीनों सेम हो गए. तो ऑड वन आउट क्या हो गया, कमोशन. कमोशन मीन्स नॉइज, तो ऑब्वियसली दिस इज द आंसर. तो ऑड वन आउट करते तो भी करेक्ट था. Alcohol de-addiction centers to dash behavioral changes in the lifestyle of addicts by keeping them busy in various activities. So obviously the de-addiction centers are bringing out a change in you. So bringing about the behavioral changes in you. You must. रूल से हम अधर करते हैं, तो अधर करेंगे, adhere to the rules followed by our company. A light breeze dashed the forest fire and made it more dangerous. तो गिव अप तो होगा नहीं यहाँ पे, राइल्ड अप भी नहीं होगा, एंग्री थोड़ी कर रहे हैं हम, तो फैंड, ऑब्वियसली फैन हुआ तो फॉरेस्ट फायर बड़ी बन गई. The petition before the court prayed for the appointment orders issued by the management. तो कोर्ट के लिए हम obviously legally we use the term quashing more. Okay, so D is the correct answer. Rights dash automatically to him who duly performs his duties. तो obviously यहाँ पे अगर आप देखोगे सबका मीनिंग एक ही है, लेकिन इशू सीम्स मोर फॉर्मल हियर. बिलोंग से ऑब्वियसली फिर आप कनेक्ट नहीं हो रहा है कि अगर आप ड्यूटीज कर रहे हो तो बिलोंग कैसे होगा. ट्रांसफर हो सकता है, अक्रू हो सकता है. अक्रू इज मोर फॉर्मल वर्ड हियर, बिकॉज राइट्स उनके हो जाएंगे जो ड्यूटीज अपने अच्छे से कर रहे हैं. इन द डिपार्टमेंट इंक्वायरी इट वाज डिनाइड दैट पुलिस हैड कमिटेड एनी क्राइम. ऑब्वियसली एक्सेसेस नहीं होगा, इंजरीज नहीं होगा, ब्लंडर नहीं होगा, तो पुलिस के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखोगे तो क्राइम इज अ बेटर वर्ड हियर. देयर इज सम मिल्क on the fridge मतलब फ्रिज के ऊपर. to the fridge not right, from the fridge not right, in the fridge is correct. she drew the picture with a crayon. crayon use करते हैं तो using a crayon. she is looking forward to visiting Paris. तो future हो गया कि हम आगे पेरिस जाना चाहते हैं. प्रोफेसर राम is an old brown haired with man with a beard. उनकी beard है. the verb from song को अगर मुझे क्या करना है, वर्ब फ्रॉम सॉन्ग इज, हाँ सॉन्ग का वर्ब बनाना है तो सिंग हो जाएगा. करेज का एडजेक्टिव बनाना है तो करेजियस हो जाएगा. ओके, अब It would be dash not to take advantage of this opportunity. अगर reasonable बोलते तो it is positive, यहाँ पे negative आ रहा है, तो rational भी नहीं है, unemotional तो नहीं use होगा, तो insane. The watchdogs dash asleep when the bulls ran riot. Watchdogs plural हो गया, तो obviously were will be the answer. Are क्यों नहीं है, क्योंकि हम past के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. The train passed across the tunnel थोड़ी होगा, tunnel से ऐसे बाहर निकल के थोड़ी हो रही है, tunnel के अंदर से जा रही है, तो through the tunnel. Pratibha failed in the examination because she takes नहीं होगा, failed. Past tense तो took will be the answer here. They dash the storm approaching. तो उन्होंने देखा था, तो saw the storm approaching. Faith is the only power that can inspire a human being who is in despair. Despair means hopeless. तो faith उन्हीं को दिखेगा ना जो hopeless है. According to the weather, dash is going to be cloudy today. तो obviously weather forecast हम साथ में बोलते हैं, तो answer is D. The villagers dash the murder of their leader by burning the police van. ठीक है, अब console तो करेंगे नहीं, mourn भी नहीं करेंगे, चिल्लाएंगे भी नहीं ऐसे, avenge भी नहीं करेंगे, तो protest तो करेंगे against that, right? थोड़ा हम common sense भी use करेंगे इधर. While on a routine flight, the aircraft was hit by a missile and obviously it will burst into flames. Hari got the company's car for a nominal price as he was. देखो reduced price के जगह हम nominal use करेंगे. It is a more formal word here. Okay, nominal means कम price पे. The unruly behavior of the soldiers. तो soldiers का behavior अच्छा नहीं था, तो obviously इससे उनके commander गुस्सा हो गए, तो incensed हो गए. वो aggrieved का मतलब क्या होता है? resentment. Obviously commander resent तो नहीं होगा, commander को निकालेंगे भी नहीं तो impeach नहीं होगा, clashes भी नहीं होंगे तो क्या होगा? incensed. Sanjay was dashed with divine vision to see the great battle. Authorized थोड़ी होगा, उसके पास divine महाभारत की बात हो रही है, तो उसका डिवाइन विजन था, मतलब उसको गिफ्ट के पास गिफ्ट था, और गिफ्ट का मतलब होता है एंडाउमेंट, डिम्योर का मतलब शाय होता है. देयर वाज सो मच trash material in essay that it was difficult to get the author's message. तो नेगेटिव हो गया. ठीक है, तो exemplary मतलब गुड, तो ये तो खत्म ही कर दो. सुपरफिशियल मतलब ऊपर ऊपर से, कैन बी करेक्ट. ओके, अब वेरिएगेटेड का मतलब के बारे में बात करते हैं, तो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट कलर्स के बारे में बात हो रही है. और हमारा एक्सट्रेनियस मतलब होता है, एक्सट्रेनियस का मतलब क्या होता है? फालतू मटेरियल. ओके, एक्स्ट्रा. ओके, इररेलेवेंट. तो ऑब्वियसली दिस इज अ बेटर सूटेड वर्ड हियर. इज इट क्लियर? So if you see, one thing is that you have to obviously improve your vocab, and vocab can be made better by this book, which is known as Word Power Made Easy. If you're preparing for FCAT next year, okay. Other than that, and if you're still preparing for FCAT, I would suggest read more books. Okay, and solve the PYQs. We'll upload this file in your description, so you can, these are all the PYQs from last 10 years, so you can solve them, use the techniques, and practice will make you better. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you in the next series when we'll discuss the other parts of the verbal ability in English. Thank you so much.